Welcome to this special episode of the Bayou Country Music Association show brought to you by Southern Sound Outfitters. And today I am joined by a legend in the radio game, the Iceman himself. How's it going, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it. Just another hot day here in Nashville. Just getting my stuff done. But it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you, man. I appreciate it.
Man, it's a pleasure for you to join us, man. You definitely a role model to me, man, and everything you do for the new country scene and all the artists out there, man. I've been watching and listening to your chart for a while, brother.
I'm glad to hear it, man. It means a lot to hear it. Thank you so much. And you know how it is, man. We just do what we do. We love the music, and it's weird how this thing just took off for me over the past 5 years, man. And I appreciate it because it's guys like you that help get the word out too. For so many great artists out there, that deserve and need to be heard. So, with all of us getting together, it's pretty cool to see what's happening.
Yeah, definitely. It's insane the amount of talent that is out there in the country music scene that goes unnoticed by mainstream. And, you in the Nashville scene, man, it's so much flooded talent in that area and much less down here. And people such as yourself that get artists noticed,
Yeah, man. It's weird because I've been doing radio for over 5 years, and I kind of stumbled across the new country genre. And I noticed that there's so many great artists out there that aren't being heard, and that's what turned me on to the genre, man. There are so many great artists that I think deserve to be heard, and the more I started doing it, the more artists I came across, and you see it yourself, man, with some of the artists that you interviewed. I see that recently you had a guy on my top 40, excuse me, that just came out with a new song, CJ Solar.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a Louisiana native, man, and great guy here in Nashville, and there are so many others, man. So, yeah, it's really cool because I always used to say, man, how come these artists aren't being heard on radio? There are so many good ones,
Yeah, CJ's a great friend of mine, man.
It's weird because as I learned the business, I realized that, it takes more than just a great song.
Yep.
To be heard. So my idea was, well, why don't we just get them heard? It's so hard to get a song on radio. I think that they say it costs $1.5 million to get a song up on Billboard.
It's insane.
To number one. Yeah, so I figured, you know what? Well, let me use what talents I have to get them heard. And not play the politics of the industry. The only thing I do is I play the music I love, and that's how it should be. So it's really cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, you definitely are a trailblazer, man, and that's amen to that. Breaking the law of the industry and having guys such as yourself and having artists. We're members of the Texas Country Music Association, and there's so many amazing independent artists that come out of Texas that are breaking the mold of you have to have a big record label behind you. Artists such as Cody Johnson and Aaron Watson and these guys that have been doing it for decades that are just breaking that mold and having a following, and that's amazing to see. Those artists combined with guys such as yourself. That can get them out there, and that's, I think, combine that and the social media presence of the modern day, it's just doomsday for, and then record labels are starting to sign artists and giving them more, the contracts they want and giving them backing financially and more, letting them do their thing, and so I think it's a good thing for music in general.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, without the internet, some of these artists would never be seen, and guys like me wouldn't be able to afford to put a tower up to be heard on FM. So the internet definitely gives you that angle to be heard. And you're right, man. I tell you what, I'm a big fan of Texas country. Casey Donahue and Wade Bowen and people like Randy Rogers, who I met not too long ago. And I was on his bus, and he goes, all we do, we just go around and make people dance. That's all, man.
Yeah.
The guys love what they do.
Yeah, they
and to
definitely
see,
do.
William Clark Green and the John Wolfe, who's on my chart, Randall King and guys like that, man.
Amazing artists.
Yeah, they are. And it was great to see Aaron Watson hit the big charts. And like you said, Cody Johnson and Donahue's been doing this thing since 2002.
Yes, sir.
It is, man. It's really cool to be able to take artists like that and bring them out to people that might not have heard them before.
Exactly. And you mentioned Randall King. I'm a huge Randall King fan. I did an interview with him. And Randall King is a very intelligent man, and actually he got a degree in music production and stuff. And he's getting praise, from Garth Brooks and from Rolling Stone magazine, and that's so much deserved from that guy, man. He's a great guy, very intelligent guy, and I'm happy to see him get that praise.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I have a syndicated show that's on FM radio. In one of my stations, my flagship station is Kicks Hot Country in Southern California, and I got a show that plays on their Saturday nights at 8 Central, and I'm going to be playing CJ Solar on that show tomorrow night, Randall King and Casey Donahue.
Wow.
It's a 1-hour show, so I got all three of them on the show this week, man, which is, you can go to
That's
my
awesome.
Facebook link to hear it if you're not in Southern California. But yeah, I enjoy that, man. I'm hoping to get I know my management company's booking me at different venues all over the country, man. I'm hoping to get down to Texas and do it because I absolutely love that Texas music scene, man. A lot of great people down there.
Oh, yes, sir. It definitely is. And I did an interview just before I talked with you with Miss Linda Wilson, the president of the TCMA, and she was talking to me how they were about to start a Texas country radio station, an internet station, and I mentioned to her, off air that they're going to, start looking into some radio personalities. And, man, you are the radio personality, so I definitely have to. I definitely need the Iceman to be on there, man. I'll definitely get you.
That would be an honor, man. And I'll tell you what, and I announced this a couple of weeks ago, I do a top 40 show, and I do a top 10 show. I also do a primetime show. And we're looking at doing a top 10 Red Dirt Country Texas chart, a top 10 weekly show.
That'd be awesome.
It would be our own. We wouldn't take the Texas Regional Radio top 10. We're looking to do our own, so we're working on that. And I don't know, man. It's weird, man. I tell you what, you just bring something different to the table, and here I am, this guy that doesn't sound like anybody else in country radio or nobody else in radio.
Exactly.
And it's pretty funny, man, to see what's going on and what's happening. But I just keep my head down and just keep working hard, and I enjoy what I do.
Well, man, I think you would be welcome with open arms in the Texas radio scene, and fit right in with the cowboy hat, the cigar, and the whiskey. There it is, man.
I enjoy it, man. I love what I do. If for your listeners that maybe haven't heard me, you can go to the Iceman.net and check out my shows if you don't catch them syndicated. I just love what I do, man. I listen to radio since I was a kid, and I enjoy it. For me, radio was something where, you enjoyed listening to. It wasn't the corporate end. It was fun. And what I try to do every show is if I could take a radio show for, let's say, 3 hours and make you forget the problems in the world or the problems you might be having personally or whatever, and just make you have fun and have a good time and laugh and listen to some good music. That's what it's about. That's what I do. It's like going to a concert and just enjoying yourself, and that's what I try to do every radio show.
Amen. Amen to that. I definitely agree. And when I started this, man, the whole podcast thing never was an intention But I was like, man, I kind of did a Q&A thing with the artist, and I was like, man, nobody reads Q&As with, So I started the interview thing, and I was like, man, everybody goes and listen. You listen to these boring, just, it's boring. It puts you to sleep. So I started doing it, and I've gotten a little better to where it's just, just a talking conversation is what I try to inseminate, man, and just people listen and can actually pay attention, because the world these days has an attention span of a gnat, it seems.
Yeah, no, it's true, man. Everybody looking down at their phones and doing. You're absolutely right, man. That's the world we live in. But the attention span does get a little short nowadays.
Yes, sir. And I try. I mean, I'm guilty. I'm one of them. So I'm my own worst critic. So I try to keep my stuff upbeat and ready and interesting. So, I mean, no doubt, I knew getting you on would not be hard to keep it upbeat. So, man, bring us some news from Nashville, man. Obviously, I got a lot down here. I got some good buddies. You mentioned CJ, great guy. I got buddies that, not from Louisiana, but are in the Nashville scene, and Dawson Edwards and Brian Frazier, some great guys. And, the list goes on in Nashville, guys. Bring us some news and up-and-comers around that area we might not have heard of, man.
Well, today is NAMM, so NAMM is going on in Nashville, and a lot of music companies are down here and equipment companies, and, some artists are popping down. But some stuff in Nashville, I'll tell you what, there's some guys that might not be from Texas that you guys should keep your eye on. One of them is Noe Palmer. He's from Kansas City, man. I love Noe. He's a great guy. He's got a great song out. She's Wearing My Hat. That's on my chart. There's a kid out of Oklahoma that I love. He lives here in Nashville. His name is CJ Garton. He's got a song called The Gun. This song's starting to make a lot of waves because it's a song that is written from the gun's point of view. It's got about 70,000 views on Facebook already, and the song has just gotten so many positive reviews because, the main lyric in the song is, I'm just a gun. And it's not controversial, but I think it really hits home, man. So, they're doing some stuff here in Nashville, and I love seeing them. As far as myself, I'm looking forward to hopefully having a video show soon. I was hosting some showcases from September downtown, but I think we're ready to announce that we are going to be doing a weekly show on video that would bring the artist in to perform at a venue and then do interviews in between. So I'm able to get a lot of these great artists down here and hopefully we start that in the next 6 weeks. You keep your eyes open for that. Another kid that's really good, I saw him at BMI. There was a BMI show with the Oak Ridge Boys about 3 weeks ago. He's out of Atlanta. His name is Trey Landon. I'm going to tell you, the kid has talent, and in my opinion, they're bringing him up like a younger Luke Bryan. The kid just has all kinds of talent, man. You got to check him out, too. I mean, those are just three. Now, you mentioned Dylan Frazier. People like that. Oh, Brian Frazier, I'm sorry. Let me take another sip of moonshine. Get my thinking straight again. Brian Frazier, I just added him to the station rotation.
Amazing.
But yeah, man, I tell you what, and I'm going to tell you just, the one thing about me, Jake, is I don't pull no punches, man, and people love what I do, and there were some people that don't like what I do because I'm this guy coming in trying to change things. But for you guys coming into Nashville, you got people that come in to visit. Sometimes the best music you're going to see isn't on Broadway, okay? And that's the one thing I tell people. It was funny because I lived here in Nashville now since September, and I always come down here when I used to come down here several times a year and go to Broadway. Now that I live in Nashville, I'm hardly on Broadway, which is kind of funny. There are a lot of great places off the beaten track you want to take a look at for some of the best artists and songwriters and stuff like that. So for you people getting in that, if you guys want to come in and just have a great time and drink and party, go to Broadway, man. There's nothing like it in the world. You got Old Red, with Blake's place. You got Jason Aldean's place in the Florida Georgia line and Alan Jackson, and it's great. But if you really want to look at some music, you go off the beaten path, and there's some of the best up and coming artists, you can find out there. Places like Exit In and places like The Basement. Yeah. I think CJ had his thing at The Basement not too long ago. Yep. But I also want to give props to CJ because he was a co-writer on the #1 song in the nation,
yes,
Up
sir.
Down by Morgan Wallen.
Yes, sir.
And I got a little story to tell you about Morgan. I played Morgan before anybody knew who he was, just after The Voice.
Yes, sir.
His song, The Way I Talk, was #1 on my chart. He did some drops for me. Man, I knew he was going to be a star.
Yes,
sir. And it's great to see that. But I want to give props to CJ, man, because I've been a fan of his since I started playing him, and I just love what he's doing. So, yeah, I just wanted to give a little shout-out to him on that #1.
That's an awesome little segment you put there. That's noticed to the Iceman's host. I mean, he was playing Morgan before anybody knew Morgan, and Morgan now is just the same as he was back then. And still, right. I was listening to him back then whenever Iceman was playing him, and I mean, he's just blown up now and much needed and much deserved. But
what's really cool about it is, I have. And when I got to send something out, there were a bunch of artists that I played before they hit radio. Matty and Tay and Stapleton and Kane Brown and Old Dominion and Brothers Osborne, Maren Morris, Midland, Luke Combs. Luke Combs was on my chart 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, he was #1 on my chart. He was on it for 30 weeks. So you're looking over 2.5 years ago, well before radio picked him up. So to add guys like Morgan Wallen to that, now the list just keeps growing. And as time goes on,
it will continue.
It's going to be more and more. I mean, there's another guy out of the Carolinas that lives here in Nashville now. His name is Joe Lasher. I've been playing Joe. His father actually messaged me last night. I've been playing Joe before anybody. Been playing him over 4 or 5 years now. Young kid, good-looking kid, talented as heck. Well, he just released a new song to radio, and it's a good one. It's called Nothing Better to Do Friday Nights. And his father sent me a message yesterday saying, hey, you got to catch up with Joe that you're finally in Nashville, and, we won't forget you were the first one that ever played him. And to me, that means a lot, because people forget. I've had people out there that have said, Iceman, you played me before anybody, I'm never going to forget. And they do. And to me, I know that people are busy with their career. Yeah. But to hear things like that from Joe's dad, man, it means a lot because, I spend a lot of time. I get 800 songs a month sent to me. But I also continuously look for songs all the time. I just don't wait for them to get sent. And to find the artist, like finding a guy on YouTube and thinking, hey, this guy's really good, somebody ought to listen to him, and his name's Kane Brown, that stuff means a lot, and it's a lot of hard work, but I love it.
I totally know what you mean, and I definitely feel it, and that's where I want to be, man, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy, of course, interviewing the big timers, but to interview these guys that don't even have music out yet, and then, months down the road, they get picked up, or somebody says I'm a fan of those because of you guys. That's what I love to hear.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
No, it's right. When someone sends you something and goes, hey, Iceman, I never heard of this artist before until you played him, and it's people like Lindsay L. Man, that makes me happy and makes it worth it. Now I'm going to tell you, there's a kid out of Louisiana that I absolutely love. His name is Kyle Daigle.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you ever I'll tell you something. Kyle came in to play at a showcase I had over the spring, early spring, late winter, man. And they came all the way in from Louisiana, and he had such a great band, and you know, so that's what makes it work. I don't know if you've interviewed Kyle yet.
Not yet, man. But we need to get him on the show.
You gotta get him, man. Get in touch with him. Said Iceman said I should interview you. I do, because I remember those guys drove all the way in from Louisiana to play this, man, and that's not close.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, we're not. We're not.
Those are the type of artists, man, that they're just busting their butts, and whatever I can do to help them makes me happy.
Yeah, man, it's I know it's definitely awesome to have artists that, you know, we got guys that, there's a lot of Louisiana guys that head out there to Tennessee, man, and go down there to the those little venues, man, that you mentioned, that you find all this great music, and you know, they got names that you know, I know a lot of my buddies that go out there, you know, the Redborn music guys, and you know, Clay Cormier and Ashton Dupree. Right. Ashton Dupree, he was on your top 40 with his song. Yep. Well, he was on the on deck list, man. That was awesome to see, you know, with his original song, When She Drinks My Whiskey. And his brother, I got to give props. His brother, older brother James, right now has a song that came out probably 2 years ago. And it was one of my favorites, and now it is on Music Row. It is, I want to say, number 28 on Music Row with Hurt Good, James Dupree.
Right, I play that song too. Right, now they're brothers.
Yes, sir.
They're brothers? Oh, wow, man.
They are, that is his older brother. That is his older brother, James Dupree. We are actually distant cousins, and we come from the same small town of Bayou Chico, Louisiana. And I don't normally pull that card up, obviously, but I have to give props to James and Ashton. So, yeah, that's awesome. I love that song's finally getting what it's credit, because that was my favorite song off the CD when he dropped it 2 years ago. But yep, that's little known. That's Ashton Dupree's older brother James. And
I knew they had the same last name, the spelling and everything. I didn't know if they were related, but it's cool to know that. I mean, there were a couple other great. I mean, I think Kyle Daigle is from Bell River, I think. I don't know if it's Bell River, Louisiana. But there's another guy, too, man, that I played a couple of years ago. He hit number one on my chart from Scott, Louisiana. His name's Blaine Roy.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to tell you something. Blaine's song "Paper and Pen" is one of the best songs I've ever played.
Blaine's a friend of the show and a friend of my co-host we had a little segment. Kyler Ardwin is a co-host of the segment. He had Kicking It with Kyler, and Blaine Roy is a good friend of his, man. Blaine's great.
Yeah, you guys talk to Blaine in a bit, man. You tell Blaine, the Iceman asking for him, man. I tell you what, one of the best songs I've ever played was his song "Paper and Pen," and he came up and played at a CMA event I did a couple of years ago, and he's just a great guy too, man. I tell you what, Blaine's song, and I wish he'd stop. I wish he would, stop, get some more music out, because he's just not only a great singer, he's a great guy.
Yeah, definitely agree. Got a lot of greats that get lost in the Louisiana scene, and I did an interview with one of them. That he's friends with Blaine, and that's Chris Bro. He's a great musician. He's got some new music that he's coming out with. That I will send as soon as he drops it to radio. But
right.
And there's so many. I mean, we could talk for hours about it, but it's awesome to see, all over many states, Texas, Louisiana. I know I sent you some guys out of Delaware, Southern Justice, and they got an EP they had out, but that song Better Off, I sent you.
We're gonna add that to the rotation next week. I appreciate it. We do our ads on Wednesday, so. Man, that's a good tune. We're gonna put that on next week.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's I really come across that. They had no connection with those guys, but I really liked the song, and I got in touch with them, did an interview with them, and they come, really good guys, man. And they deserve all the credit they can get, man.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it, you sending it over, because that's what it's all about. I say the same thing to radio stations, whether you like me or don't like me. If there's a song I'm playing that you like, send it over. I'll send it over to you, man, because it's all about helping these artists get out there and do their thing, You can't just get played on one station. I don't care if it's Bobby Bones or if it's Sirius, man. You got to be all over the place. So, that's the one thing I do, man. Share the music, get it out, and help get these people out there.
Amen to that, man. I mean, they almost remind me of the duo that's getting their recognition finally, and that's Gary and Charlie of Muscadine Bloodline, dude. That they have that same, distinctiveness of them.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
brother.
No. And man, but no, I appreciate you bringing me on. See, now I'm versed, man. Everybody think, the Iceman's in Nashville. What's he? No, I know how to talk that Texas and Louisiana country, man. I'm just a fan of music and helping as many as I can. But it was a pleasure being able to speak to you, man. And you humbled me, saying you listened to me for a while. And because I remember when I was doing this out of a closet in my house 6 years ago, and my mother was my only listener. You know what I mean? So, it means a lot to hear that and to come on and be able to talk a little about some of these artists that deserve to be heard.
Well, man, I am very much appreciative that you took time to come on, and it means the world to me. I hope all the listeners enjoy, and we always welcome back, brother, and we will stay in touch. Send any artists our way. We'll send them your way and work together to get as many artists recognized, brother.
Same here, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. Keep doing what you love. I appreciate it, Jacob, man. You have a great day, and I look forward to talking to you soon, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Wow. Great guest with us, Bobby the Iceman. Man, you can catch his all his radio shows and shorts, man. Go to theiceman.net and check out all of his stuff. A legend to me, and I know a lot of country artists are grateful to him, and we are too, man. That was an awesome interview. I hope all you guys enjoyed, man.